within my body, you've spoken about this before, and I've become aware of it myself too, that there's a real density of me impression in the face and the front of the chest. And I feel like I asked some similar question about that in the past, and some of the advice that you've given to me was viewing it from a little distance.
Yes.
I haven't seemed to have a lot of luck with that. For some reason, it still seems very, very dense.
Yes. Well, it's very important that you have zero interest, absolutely zero interest in changing it. Changing it. First, above all, I have no interest whatsoever in changing it. I'm just observing an arising. I am observing a phenomenon. I'm observing something I could refer to it as a sensation, a bodily sensation. And I may also be observing a certain inner resistance to it. The inner resistance to it may be my interest in wanting to change it. And this inner resistance to this sensation is in itself also a sensation. So I'm observing a sensation or layers of sensations that I have no interest whatsoever in changing them. Because changing anything is a myth. There is no other reality, there is no tomorrow's reality or yesterday's reality. Reality is not in time. You could say that change, we can observe it from via thought. We can observe that in memory of when I was 10-year-old, a little girl playing in the yard, and when I was 20 years old. So I can observe that change. But in fact, I'm just observing a current thought. There is actually, in my direct experience, I'm just perceiving this thought. And inside the thought, there is something says, oh, something has changed. But my experience is not an experience of anything changing. My experience is pure being. Like my experience right now is beyond words. I can make words about it, but the words about it are not it. The experience, our experience is wordless. And we make words about our experience for various purposes, for various practical reasons, and sometimes out of pure stupidity. But it's important to understand that our interest in changing something is part of the myth and part of our inner struggle. Our inner struggle, inner conflict, or inner conflict. It's really important to understand that. If you are coming from the premise that there is something wrong, something off, that I need to change, that I heard it to be different, and you are believing that myth, that paradigm, you are already in the illusion and in the myth of a better world, a better life, a better experience. In this moment, whatever is arising to you, is arising to you. This very perception right now, these very words, this very experience, whatever you call it, whichever way the mind calls it, that is arising to you, is arising to you. But you are not arising. You are. You are does not mean I am arising. I am is pure amness. I am. And there is an image on the screen that's arising right now, Magdi waving his hands or whatever. But the I am is neither big or small, neither tall or short, neither female or male, neither coming or going, neither starting or ending. This satsang, these words, may start and end. Magdi waving his hand may start and end. But the I, the reality that perceives, that is not perceived, that is not an object that you can perceive, is pure being. And that pure being that I'm referring to is the I am, is what I am. And then you can call it Holly, we can call it Joe, etc., etc. But, okay, so we call being human beings. It's okay, I have no problem with that, But the problem is in believing that being, which has no name, which has no border, which does not start and end, is actually this person, this feeling, this sensation of physical opacity. You see, the identification with a me, with some limiting the I am, which is limitless, effortless. Effortlessly you perceive this perception. You're not working at it. It's just, easy being. Yes? But when you are identified as the I am is this actual person that is now stuck in this body, that is feeling opaque and should feel more transparent, then there is an inner, fictitious inner struggle. But we experience this fiction. I mean, when you are believing that there is a ghost, in the house, you're actually experiencing your heart pounding, you're experiencing the cold sweat. But there is no ghost. But to say there is no ghost while you are experiencing the fear and the cold sweat is of no use. You need to come to the clarity that there is no ghost. So we open with the kids, we tell them, we open the closet, we turn the lights on, say, okay, mommy, please, when you leave the light on. We say, don't worry, we leave the light on. They say, okay, is nobody coming? Before you go, just sleeping in peace, sleeping in peace. Similarly, we have to come to see that there is no ghost. There is no personal self. That in our actual experience is just the light of being. Don't worry about the opacity, because the opacity will dissolve in your understanding of the vastness of being. But as an exercise, you can turn your attention to I am the screen that perceives this perception. And what may help, but obviously in your case that's not working, that's okay, is to sort of step back as if you're stepping back. In fact, there is no stepping back. I am that. Everything is I. But it's as if you're stepping back, you're relaxing and watching the screen, watching this opacity. From the watcher point of view, it's complete transparency. When you are sitting in the theater watching the show, there are all sorts of things happening in the show, on the stage. But where you are sitting, it's just completely relaxed. I mean, hopefully it's a comfortable chair, that the ones that have, these soft arms and everything, and the cup holder, you're happy, you see. So this leaning back, rather than leaning forward, is usually encouraged in your contemplation, to lean back, relaxing back, as if there is a really soft, velvety, fur-lined cushion holding you, and you rest back as whatever is happening is happening. Usually we lean forward into it, say, oh my God, what's happening? What can I do about it? We pull our toolbox and we just starting to bring it here, cut it there, turn it this way, call the mechanic, etc. You see, and that keeps us engaged in some problem. But from the innocence of being, the purity of being, from our true nature, from the reality of your experience, where at the reality level of your experience, there is a reality to your experience, which is the I am, there are no problems. There are downloads at the mind level of problems. Oh, you should be this, you haven't done that, your family should be like that, your partner should be like that, your work should be like this. There is a lot of download. And the download is so intense, and it has rooted in the human psyche so deeply that even if you go to Tanzania, you will find it in some other form. Even if you go to Tibet, you will find it in some form. It is everywhere. It is prevalent. But it always starts and ends right here with myself. It's not about somebody else. It's not about what's happening in the human psyche. It is what's happening right here, right now. And right here, right now, I see the download. I see the download of how I should be. Why didn't I do this? The judgment, the measurement, the judging others, judging myself, measuring myself, regretting, hoping that people love me. All of these are download. Because our true nature is love itself. It's shining love, shining. And the human psyche needs this shining. It needs the light, like in the tunnel. You need that spark of light to come out of the tunnel. How can you? Otherwise, you don't know which way to go. This is the right, to the left, this way, that way. How do you know? You flip the coin. You keep flipping the coin. You can't even see the coin that you're flipping because there is no light to even see the coin. You see?
And you have to be open for the recognition of that life, of that light, as it happens,
yes,
right in front of you, and go with it in order to have the transformation
yes,
be more complete.
Well,
I would guess, yeah.
Sure.
Because just to make my point is that you're caught in the whole downdraft as a way of life, as a habit, and just trying to manage one emotion to the next and tell one story after another. You're not letting that light come in. You're
Yes,
just
yes.
stuck in that old template.
Right.
Yeah.
So
I guess I'm asking, like, I see that, and then how am I going to recognize it when I say, okay, I'm not telling my stories now. I'm just sitting here, and I want with the fullness of what is possible in consciousness. What are the characteristics or qualities that are going to show up, that I'm going to smell, that are going to sparkle, that are going to be part of that recognition of getting outside of this character and getting into a new place?
Yes.
It has these
Yes.
other
Well, your interest is very important. What are you deeply and really interested in, and are you living your interest? If your interest is in your personal improvement, I would say good luck to you, because you're going to spin and spin. But if your interest is in truth, and you're living according to that, you keep exploring in your life how to live according to loving truth, honoring truth. Not my beliefs, because we confuse my beliefs and my opinion or the opinion of my party or my group to be the truth. I mean truth that's universal. There is truth we all know. We all know justice, and we all know correctness in our heart. We all know that to hurt somebody else is not. We know it. There's an innate knowingness, because I am the truth. Consciousness is the truth. We don't need to consult the encyclopedia. We don't need to go consult somebody about it. We just need to look deeply within ourselves and be clear about what is it that we truly love, and be sincere with ourselves and not to fool ourselves about how we are living. If we are loving the truth and living like a person, we need to see that. And if you really are a truth lover and you perceive yourself living, as in the download and your judgments and your analysis about yourself and others, it's really important that you perceive that and you don't judge yourself about it. You don't judge yourself. You judging yourself about it is like, wishing that it was different. You don't judge yourself. You just recognize, okay, here I am living the download. And you, at that moment, you could say, screw it, I don't want to continue that. I'm stopping it now, okay? You may find yourself 10 minutes later living the download again. Who knows? But at that moment, you say no to that. You say, no, this judgments I'm doing about myself and others, I'm going to just have a cup of tea, forget about this. I'm not going to pursue that, these thoughts and these feelings and this living in this inner darkness and psychological mess about myself and others. We get very deep depressions and sadness and feeling of loneliness and anger. It's really, it can be agony. It can be agony. So we have to stop it. Of course, we can take drugs, we can go to a therapist, but we can also stop it. We have this capacity to say no.
To go back to the police question when you were talking to her about sitting back.
Yes.
I'm going through a lot of anxiety right now. I don't know if it comes from physical, mental, a lot of things going on. And it's affecting my breathing and everything. How do I deal with that? Would the sit back help with that? Just looking at this happening by resting?
It always comes to the same, in that we want things to be different. We want something to be different in our life, in the others, in our relationships, in our body, we want things to be different. And the stronger our wanting things to be different, the stronger the experience we will have of anxiety or frustration, which leads to, similar to the anxiety, inner sense sometimes of hate, sometimes inner depression. First, you need to understand that you are struggling unnecessarily, because what is. You are struggling, and your struggle is part of your anxiety, is the root cause of your anxiety. If you are still holding these beliefs that things are not correct for you, things are not unfolding correctly for you, you can't really stand back from that, because that belief structure prevents you from really relaxing. You cannot at the same time be holding and releasing. You have to first of all see that you are holding. And when you see that you are holding, if you really see it, the releasing has started. Yes? Here in the Advaita teaching, it is the direct teaching. The teaching is that what you truly are is transparency of being. You are this consciousness. You are borderless universal awareness. We go straight to that. And that is not something that is lacking anything or that is missing anything or that needs to improve the body or needs to improve the situation. It is not in that business. Now, if that does not free you from what is happening at your mind level, you need to see that all your struggles and everything that you are dealing with is completely empty. There is no before or no after. There is just the eternity of being, the eternity, you can call it eternity of now, but the eternity of being. Everything else is mind. And you are in the mind trying to get some salvation. The salvation is not in the mind, it's not in the world. It is in truth, in the self, in the reality of being. So at the micro level, the sensations that arise for you, if possible, don't try to fix them. Give them ample space and room to expand and extend into your whole being, which is vast. Your whole being is not this shape, this size, so many pounds. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about allowing whatever is arising for you to just give it the entire space. I don't mean to stretch it. Just relax your defenses to what you're experiencing, Allow it to be. Allow it to flow with the breath. As it inhales, it goes into the depth of being, in the vastness of being. As it exhales into the vastness of being. Perceive what you're experiencing as this vibrational field. Don't consider it to be toxic, that it's something that's harming you. It is an arising, and all arising is arising for its particular reason and purpose and time to arise, and it is now that it is arising, and it's meant to be now and to arise now and to be now and for you to live that and experience that now, nothing else. Nothing else. So when it arises for you to experience it, don't struggle with it. What's the point? It's going to say, okay, she needs me to wait. Let me get a little stronger so she can allow me. And then the more you struggle with it, the more it wants to express itself. Allow it to be. Allow it to be. Don't try to think about it in a certain way, because sometimes we try to fix things with our thinking, which is a mirage. There is nothing to fix. Thought just comes along as a disguise, as a trickster. Say, oh, here I am. He should not do that. He should not do that. You should do this and that to him or to her. Or why did you do this? Go, etc. From releasing, from relaxing, in relaxing, as relaxing, the vastness of being, the peace of being, becomes more available to you. And there is wisdom in that. The direction, the voice that will arise to you will not be the voice of the mind, of thinking. It will be God's voice. It will be a direction that you are not totally unexpecting, that will tell you that is the direction, And you, in the beginning, you won't know how to hear it. You won't even, because we're not used to hearing that. But you will in time start to hear this direction and start to trust this direction. And more you will find that there is that direction available to you so loud. It's always telling you, all is well, I'm here, I am the light, I am the way, I am the direction, and I will take care of you, don't worry. There is no personal choice outside of choosing to say yes to God, say yes to being, say yes to whatever is arising. Yes. But not just say yes at the mind level, say yes with our entire being. Yes? This is how you heal the body. The body heals in the light. It doesn't heal any other way.